Welcome to the War Eagle Radio Network for Talons Out Live with head coach Adam Dolan. Talons Out Live takes you in-depth and behind the scenes of the West Carroll War Eagles with stats, comments, and a breakdown of the previous game, plus a look ahead in the schedule. We'll sit down weekly with special guests, players, administration, and the coaches for a look into the locker room. This is Talons Out Live.
Welcome, everyone, to the War Eagle Radio Network, Talons Out Live with Coach Adam Dolan, and we are ready to rock and roll for another season of Talons Out Live, as well as another fine season of West Carroll War Eagle football. I'm Jonathan Gowan, and I've got Adam Welch on here as well, and also Coach Adam Dolan. And we're doing it remote this year, so everybody just hang on, and we're going to have some technical difficulties here and there, and we're running a little bit behind today, but thanks to technical difficulties and internet issues, it is what it is. But Adam Welch, how are you, brother?
Great. How are you?
Doing good. Appreciate you joining me again this year for Talons Out Live, and we've got a brand spanking new head coach for the West Carroll War Eagles. Coach Adam Dolan, how are you, brother?
Man, I'm doing all right. How are y'all doing?
Doing good. We appreciate you joining us. And so I was going to tell you, if you decide that you want to call this something different other than Talons Out Live, if you've got your own hashtag, your own situation, we can always make adjustments. But it's your show. It's we want to dig deep inside of, West Carroll football, West Carroll War Eagles, and kind of really understand, what you've got going on each and every week. And so, I mean, I think it's going to be a fun season. I think it's going to be a trying season, but it's here. But whether we like it or not, it is here.
Yes, sir. As far as the name, I think, in the high school, we still use the Talons Out, words and symbol for a lot of different things in other sports. So totally fine with that. I am the absolute worst person when it comes to hashtags. First of all, I don't really have any. My Facebook got hacked literally this week last year, and I haven't made a new one. I wanted to go a whole year without it, and I have done it. It has been awesome.
Probably been a lot of stress relief. Not having to worry about seeing things.
Yeah, I've told people this numerous times. You really don't realize how often you look at your phone and start scrolling something, and you just do it subconsciously. And I did that for about a month. I was like, whoa. Like, you looked at it. It's like, I can't even get on there. It was a weird deal with all that. So some Pakistani person hacked me, I guess, and, whatever. So if you look for me on Facebook, you will find something that does not look like me with someone who changed the picture on me. So it's been interesting. I have gotten texts and calls about that. Like, Coach Dolan, did you change something? I was like, yeah,
nope.
Yeah, I did. And it's a new look. So
it's a new look.
Yeah. So that's kind of been interesting. But man, I am the worst when it comes to slogans and hashtags and banter. I guess I'm just a caveman. I just don't care about any of that stuff. Never have. Never. I don't think I ever will. But
that's okay. That ain't no
problem.
I like
the Talons Out Live deal. I think it's got a good little ring to it. So if it's okay with y'all, I think we keep rolling with it.
Hey, sounds like a plan to me. So we know that we talked to you a little bit last year on the Talons Out Live with Coach Morris, and we appreciate everything that he done in the past the 3 years, and kind of molding what West Carroll is up to this date. And congratulations to him being able to go on to possibly bigger and better things at Obion County. He's closer to home, things like that. So I mean, I know we talked to you a little bit last year, but I guess for the folks that don't know Coach Adam Dolan, let's talk about that just a little bit. Give us some of your past, some of your history, and a little bit about yourself.
Well, Clayton, very super excited for Clayton. He when I came, he hired me. I had gotten I'd taken a little bit of break when I was from being a head coach in Missouri, and we'll kind of circle around to that. But I was kind of doing something. I was I was working for Dynamics actually and training athletes that were post table therapy, and I've got a passion and a background kind of in the whole makeup of the body and exercise physiology, kinesiology field. I've always kind of ran the weight room where I've been for the most part. Always kind of been that guy, especially into like nutrition and athlete nutrition, athletic nutrition, sports, and strength conditioning field and stuff like that. So when he hired me on, he was looking to add to the staff, and it just kind of worked out well. It was a good partnership, and I'm super glad he got to go close, and a lot of things that come with it. I had worked there. That was kind of my first teaching job. My first 5 years in teaching was at Obion County Central and coaching football there under Sean Jackson, and we had a really good run. One of the 4 or 5 best years in their school history as far as wins was in that time period from basically I was there from 08 to 12, but from 2009 to 2011, there's never been a 3-year period where they've won more games in the history of that school. So I know that area, know the people there. It's a lot closer to home. Of course, his wife, Emily, was there at South Fulton, so know a lot about Obion County and everything. So super happy for him. I know he'll tell you that he loves West Carroll. He loves the people of West Carroll, loves the kids, loved his time here. And it was just something that was good for his family at that time. And I'm happy for him. I wish the best for him. I still communicate. We still keep in touch very often about things. So he's not gone. It's just, kind of a see you later kind of thing. But as far as my background, grew up in Greenfield, kind of talked about that before, small town guy. Went to UTM, was a student assistant. I had, dreams of kind of walking on a plane. I had a couple opportunities to go play other places. Didn't really want to do that. Knew I wanted to get into coaching and teaching very early on. So did that, did the student assistant thing, started volunteering as a football coach in 2005 at Fulton City High School. Spent a year up there under Coach Lowhouse. And then 2006, coached back home at Greenfield with Coach Roadhaver. With middle school football there in Greenfield. 2007, he got the high school job, and I was his defensive coordinator. As he and I was student teaching at the time, and was his defensive coordinator, and did that. And then 2008 through 12, I was at Obion County Central. 2013 and 14, I was at Lake County. My best friend Josh Puckett got to be the head coach there. He'd been a couple different places. We were actually together at Obion, and he went on to Haywood and then JCM, but was there in Lake County. Then Coach Jackson kind of came back from Atlanta. He went and took the job at the huge school up in Paducah called McCracken County. It's a huge school, got like 2,300 kids, 9 through 12. We had 160 football players. I was defensive coordinator, strength conditioning coach, special teams coordinator, all that stuff up there for a couple of years. And then he left and didn't get the job. Wanted to be the head coach there, didn't get the job. And then I went to Hopkinsville High School in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, about an hour and 45 minutes from here, close to Clarksville. I was, DC, O-line coach, D-line coach, different things there for 3 years. And then left there when Coach Puckett, he won the state championship in 2019 at Lake County. He went to Shelbyville, and we all kind of reunited in the COVID year. We went to Shelbyville there in Middle Tennessee and had a great year. I actually flipped sides of the ball and was the offensive coordinator there, and coached tight ends, and then helped with defense a little bit. But did that, and then became the head coach of Caruthersville. Did that for a little while, and then I just was ready for something different. I don't know. I was ready to kind of move back closer to home, and there's, things going on, and I just wanted to do that. So I kind of transitioned out, got a great situation with Dynamics, and that enjoyed that. But after so long, the itch to coach again kind of started creeping up, and then Coach Puckett, his son Caden Puckett, who I coached and who I was there when he was born, he started volunteering a couple years ago with Coach Morris, and he kind of put the bug in Clayton's ear to maybe you might need to ask him. He might want to do this, and they gave me a great setup, and off we came. So I moved back and moved over here to McKenzie, and been over at Atwood, over here at West Carroll since 2022, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, I know it takes a special person to want to come back and teach and want to come back and coach. And so, I mean, what is it about teaching and coaching for you that what was the thing that just pulled you back in?
It was actually not just one thing. I think it was a lot of little things. Something I've always done. Like I knew I wanted to be a coach since I was a freshman in high school. Like I knew it. I knew looking at genetics, I wasn't going to play in the NFL, and I knew I was probably tapped out at 5'9", and I wasn't very fast, and whatever. So wasn't going to do that. So what was the next best thing for me was staying involved in the game somehow, and that was coaching. And funny story. Kind of, I don't know. I think about it a lot. Coach Puck and I, we played for a man named Shane Slick, who was a baseball coach, football coach in Greenfield for a little while. He was my head football coach when I was an 8th grader. And I'd played other positions, but he called me. I was the first person he called when he got the job there. And he asked me what I played. And I told him, and he said, well, you're the only person that said you played that. Everyone thinks you need to play running back. And I said, well, I could, whatever you want to do. Anyway, as we were going through the season, he was I don't know. I'd never been around a coach that was so energetic and everything like that. And it really, I was like, man, I really clung to that. And then he let me draw up plays in the 8th grade, and we ran plays that I drew up literally in the 8th grade and ran them in games, and they worked. And I was like, maybe there's something to this. And I've always had a passion for the schematics and the X and O's and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a weird person when it comes to tinkering out. I'm in my office right now. There are 4 whiteboards in this office. There's whiteboards in my living room. I've got one in my backpack. I never go anywhere without blue and black pens and erasing markers, ever. I always do. I'm a nerd when it comes to football. So I've always loved the mental process of sports. Like I was a catcher in baseball, loved being in that role. And then, the mental side of sports is where I've always clung to it. So that going with teaching, coaching is teaching, teaching is coaching. It's the same thing. I've never really looked at it as anything different. And I've taught a lot of different subjects. And I think that's been a blessing. I didn't think it was early in my career, but it was a blessing to teach a lot of different subjects. 9th grade, 8th grade, seniors. That's helped me because you're coaching different, ages. A 13-year-old, 14-year-old freshman is way different how you teach and coach him than you do a 17 or 18-year-old, especially today. Maybe 15 years ago it was a little different, but now it's totally different. So that's helped me, but I don't know. It's always been in me. I've always done it. And, I thought there was a time where I thought, let's try something different, especially in that field, because it was very much what I was used to, being in a weight room, being in that kind of the workout training, scenario and the setting. It's always something I've enjoyed doing as well. But over a few months, it was like, yeah, I kind of miss being in it. So that was main. It was, miss the teaching part of it, like that structure of it, but also definitely working with the kids. Like, I don't know if any people I love the off season just as much as the in season. I enjoy being in the weight room with the guys in a February on a Tuesday when it's 35 degrees outside as much as I do anytime else. I don't ever think of it as in season, off season. It's the same to me. Like it's just, I don't know. It's a never ending process.
Now there was one little thing in the middle of your talk about becoming a head coach that you made plays and they went with them in the 8th grade. Now, if somebody comes up to you, are you willing to do that back with them?
No, I say that. I've got to see the proof. I got to see what it is. Like, I was told this by an old coach many years ago, a guy that I coached with Old Mine. He's from Louisiana. Like, he coached against the Manning brothers back in the 90s and stuff, and he was on our staff. And his name's Chuck Foley. He's an awesome man. He lives in Mississippi and coaches still. And he told me very early on that you can tell usually how good a coach is by how they diagram a play and how they draw it up based off the precision of it and the detail of it and what it looks like. And that is always carried to me. That is always translated. I've interviewed coaches. I've interviewed for jobs. I've spoke at clinics before. And it's not always the fact, because some coaches don't really do that. They're just better with a hands-on fundamental approach. But as far as, calling plays, designing schemes, calling offenses, setting up that kind of stuff, if you can't draw it up very well and understand the ins and outs of certain things, it usually goes with how well you understand it, at least from what I've seen. So I've always taken great pride in knowing not even the stuff that we're going to run, just other people's stuff. I enjoy all of it, all schemes, all kind of offenses and defenses and special teams, all that stuff. I don't know. My mind is always in that area, and that's a good thing, but it's also can be a disadvantage in some things because sometimes it's not always about the X's and O's and the plays. It's about the players, and you've got to be able to have all that mesh up together. I mean, you can have the best play in the world drawn up on a board or paper, but if your kids can't execute it and can't physically do it, then why are you doing it? So you have to – there's a balance with it too.
Right. And we'll get to a little bit of like a full season preview here in just a bit. But myself and Adam Welch, which I was trying to, take some videos for our new upgrade and our new huddle production truck stuff, and my son was there Jamboree night trying to take some pictures and stuff. So, but Adam Welch was there at the Jamboree. So, Adam, let's talk a little bit about some of the things you was keeping notes. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you've seen in that Jamboree and kind of get Coach Dolan's point of view on some of that stuff.
Coach Dolan, let's talk defensively a little bit. I know that's, a lot of areas there with you being a defensive guy. Talk a little bit about the defense. You lost a lot of key pieces.
Lost 9 starters.
So talk about how tough it is to try to rebuild the process slowly.
Oh yeah. Well, I hate that y'all saw the Jamboree. Boy, it was a mess. Now the week before when we played Dresden, it was way more competitive. Yeah. A lot of that had to do with the heat, but there was a little. I don't know. We were.
What do you attribute it to? The heat.
The heat, but also
multiple things.
It was multiple things. It was heat, but also we did not. It didn't look. I don't know. We're very young in ways, and when I say by young, you're like, Coach, you got a bunch of juniors. Yeah, but a lot of them juniors haven't been on the field very much. So we're young in a lot of ways, inexperienced in a lot of ways. We got a lot of kids that haven't played their football their entire life. You can look at inexperience in a lot of ways. Just because you're a junior doesn't mean always that you're ready if you've never been out there. So we're dealing with a lot of that right now. And sometimes you can get a little shell-shocked by stuff. And it wasn't anything that Dresden did. We didn't really change a whole lot. They didn't really change a whole lot. But we not having, when Zach Fowler wasn't playing in the Jamboree, we have to play musical chairs every day. We're down to 20 players. When Sawyer got hurt in that deal, it moved some pieces. And, it's not just, well, put this guy in. And it's not that. You're moving one starter to here and you're playing the next guy here. It changed a lot of things. So it did when, Zach wasn't able to play, and he'll be, be back ready to go this week. But it definitely changed some things because we are very, very, very thin at defensive back and receiver. I've never been this thin. I've never seen anybody be this thin in any situation in my coaching career. So our skill guys are learning 3 and 4 positions, and we worked on that today. Because if one guy one guy gets a cramp, someone from somewhere else has got to go do something, and they've got to know it. And so we're trying, to do all that kind of stuff as far as teaching multiple positions to guys that don't know, they're not perfect or great at their one position yet. And it's just a slow grind. But as far as defensively, and, you say being on the defensive side of the ball for most of my career, I have, but boy, you couldn't tell it on Friday. It was bad. We just didn't credit Dresden. I'm not going to say they game planned for it, but they game planned a little bit. They did a lot of things that attacked where a lot of our freshmen on the field were. Let's just say that.
Yeah, sure.
And we had there were some seniors. There was 18-year-olds on 13-year-olds, and it showed in some spots. And we were working on it. To be honest, we were working on a few different things schematically on defense that was maybe more in line to what we're going to see later on. So, yeah, that was not how we played the week before against them on defense.
If you look back at it, though, there was still some good, bright moments within the defense as well. I mean, because we were right there on the sidelines watching it. It seemed like, they got them stopped, and wasn't able to let them get a couple of first downs when they needed it. But it just seemed like it was only a few bright moments, I guess.
You're right. And when the dam broke, it broke. We made a lot of mental mistakes. A lot of young guys made a lot of mental mistakes and they maybe didn't make those mistakes at all on Wednesday or Thursday. But when the bullets are firing and they're out there and they get tired, you go into survival mode and your brain is not thinking as clearly. And you just absolutely miss something that you've done all week just because you're more tired than you've been. And our conditioning played a role in that. Our conditioning is not where it needs to be yet. We have had some situations I'm not happy about when it comes to the heat, and we haven't been able to go out and do as much as, let's just say, some other schools that we have played in scrimmages have, let's just say, they've done those things and we haven't. Yeah. But and whatever, we're not where we need to be yet, but we're gonna get there. Our guys understand that now. After Friday and the focus from Sunday, we had some kids come in and get workouts and therapy on yesterday while we were meeting up there as a staff, and then today with the talks that we had in the film, they had the workout, the condition we had today. Our kids, I think they get it now. They truly get it. Like, yeah, we're not where we were. We're going to work at it. And today we had a really good first Monday back. It was a good day. But defensively, I mean, when you're not as old and experienced and we're not as athletic as we were, yeah. If you have one guy miss something and mess something up, it can make it look like everybody messed up. And that's what happened on Friday. We'd have one guy or two guys misplay a block, and that's going to be our kryptonite as a defense all year. Is we cannot let the ball get to the perimeter. We are not built for that. Now, when you talk about our defensive line and our inside linebackers and our middle safety play, we're going to be just fine. But if it gets out to the perimeter where we're young and don't have a lot of depth and we don't have as much team speed as we're probably used to the last couple of years, it gets to the perimeter, that's where we're going to be in trouble. So almost every week is, what do they want to do out there and how are we going to keep it inside? And we want it to, stay inside the hashes, so to speak. Keep the ball in front of us and keep the ball inside of us. And if we can do that consistently, we'll be just fine, because effort is not going to be our problem. I will make sure of that. Our coaches will make sure of that. That's just going to be a staple. We are going to be physical and we are going to play hard. We are going to have the right humans on the field playing hard. That's just going to be what we do. And I don't know any other way.
Talk a little bit, Coach, about your coaching philosophy a little bit, and how do you go about managing playing time as far as how you determine that? I know practice effort, and I know a lot of factors can contribute to that.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of factors contribute to that. I think that changes from time to time a little bit, because you got to look at it sometimes like in our situation. We're very young right now in a lot of spots. Last year we were very old, so the way you might handle playing time is a little different with an older group as you do a younger group. Not to say that they're too much different, but I put a lot of stock on a lot of little things. Like, I can see it. I want to know how much time they're actually watching film on the weekend. Yeah, that matters to me. Yeah. I want to know who's doing things on their own to get better, because right then I already know, they're motivated. Now they're motivated themselves, so I can coach them differently than someone who's maybe not as motivated. And maybe I can depend on them a little bit more. So when it comes to playing time, I tell the kids this, usually when it comes down to this, I'm going to play the people I trust in the story. If I trust you to do your job day in, day out, play by play, then you're going to play. Sometimes the people that got a lot of ability, you can't trust them sometimes because maybe they just won't do their job every play. Yeah. And we're in a situation now that you have to do your job every play. And that sounds so easy, but boy, it's not easy, because there's a lot of things that mess with you out there, especially when you get tired. So trust, accountability, taking ownership of your position and what you're doing. Are you coachable in it? Some people are not as coachable anymore. God love them. They don't want to be coached hard. I don't know if it's because they're not pushed very hard outside of school in sports and at home, or they just personality-wise they don't like it. But that's changed in the last 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
That's an issue. So accountability and trust is, I guess, the two biggest things for me. Making sure that you're prideful about what you're being asked to do, and then go follow and do it.
And that led to my next question that I had down here is the difference between coaching now and 10 to 15 years ago. What all's changed, and how has it affected the game for the good, for the bad, and different?
Kids are the same. Parents are what's changed.
Yeah.
People won't like to hear that. Whatever. Parents have changed.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the same as it was from the 90s to the 80s, 80s to the 70s, 60s to the 50s.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, that's okay.
Parents have changed. Our culture.
And I mean, it's not just on the, at the football games, football practice or whatever else. I mean, you see that thing in daily life. And I mean, I'm 40 and Adam, I know, is 38, but in I've got a kid. I got a 13-year-old child, and it's appalling sometimes to see just how some of these kids act and how some of these kids are, showing themselves out there or even talking to other adults. And you sit there and think, my mama taught me that, right from wrong. So like you said, I mean, it's a parenting thing that goes way beyond the football field too.
Yeah. When with parenting, a lot of parenting, it kind of shadows what culture is now. And we're in a culture now to where everyone has to, they find instant gratification in things. You get information at the touch of a finger, what we're doing right now. And just everyone is always, their mind is occupied with stuff. And that's the thing with football that's tough is, I try to tell our kids this, you've got to find ways to get better when you're not here. And it's really hard. Basketball, you can go to the gym and shoot on your own. You can do dribbling drills on your own. Baseball, you can hit soft toss. You can hit off a tee. Pitching machines, you might just need one or two people. Football, that's hard to play. Like practice real football, you can't do it on your own. It's really hard. You're either in the weight room or you're watching film or taking care of your body. And that's where our kids have got to get better, is taking care of their body. With 20 kids, we got to take care of our body. We got to watch film. We got a lot of kids that, and we talk about it. And I think this is leading into the football thing and like how you're coaching your kids now and how you run your program stuff. The days of assuming that a football player comes to you knowing almost everything they need to do, that's extinct. Like our kids don't watch full football games. They watch highlights. They play video games, and that's fine. But they don't watch the game much anymore with an uncle or a grandfather or a dad or whatever, or a big brother.
No, that's right.
That doesn't happen very much. So there's a lot of details kids don't understand. They come to us in high school, and it's not the middle school coach's fault because they've only got so much time to get what they can done too. Right. It's just a whole thing of, it's so easy now to just watch the high points of a game. When we were growing up, you had to watch the whole game to see the good and the bad. So the little bitty details our kids don't really understand. And it's not just our kids, it's kids in general. So you have to coach every little detail, and you can't assume they know anything really. It would really shock a lot of people that are our age that played their entire life to know that some of the things our kids as freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, as far as the game itself, they don't really quite understand at this moment. And it's because I don't know how much time they've really had invested in the game as far as a fan and watching it. And that's one thing that's really changed, to go with what you said a second ago. How do you coach people differently? You can't assume they know anything anymore.
Talk a little bit about your assistant coaches. That kind of led to my next their role for the program and for this season, and trying to talk about getting players to buy into the system.
Yeah. Coach wise, I'll start with the coaches. We've had some transition and turnover. Coach Morris has, moved on. And even before that, the year before that, Coach Lamb, Coach Puckett has moved on as well. He's back down in Haywood with his father. He's coaching with Haywood. Coach Dixon is focusing more on, the baseball and the basketball side of the world now, working on that. Kind of what he got into the business doing. So kind of went out. Coach Taylor, Coach Colton Taylor's been with us. He's been here longer than I have. He came in with Coach Morrison his first year. So Coach Taylor's still on the staff. You know, he's kind of like my next guy in charge of the defense. He's really doing a good job with the defensive backs, which he's been doing since I've been here. And then still working with our special teams quite a bit, helping coordinate our special teams, and then coaching running backs on offense. And then I was able to hire 3 guys new to our program in our school system. First guy I got hired, his name is Chris Brackeen. He's been at McNary County High School or McNary Central. He's been in Haywood County. He's been at Crockett County, Westview, Soddy Daisy, and Chattanooga. He's been around, traveled like myself. Loves ball, great offensive mind. He is he's going to be on our offensive coordinator and coach our quarterbacks. That is exciting because he's been around some really good coaches and offenses too. So he's going to put his touches on what we're doing right now. What we're doing is kind of the same stuff as we did last year. It's just tinkered with more because that system that we put in last year and kind of got away from the wing tee stuff was more of what Coach Puckett's dad and myself had done at other places and kind of brought that to here. And then Coach Brackeen has been around some of that. So he's fitting in well with that. He's coaching inside linebackers on defense and definitely helping us with special teams. He's well involved in everything we're doing. Really good on the field. Very energetic, a lot of juice and energy. We needed some more people like that. I've been kind of that. I need to have more people do that. I can't always be the bad cop like I've usually been. So got to be more of a good cop sometimes too. So Coach is doing a great job. Second guy, Coach Windsor, Billy Windsor. He's been coaching longer than I have. I met him in 2008 at O'Brien Central. Worked with him 5 years there. Coached with him a little bit at Lake County when he was the head middle school coach there. The last couple of years, he's been the offensive coordinator at Gibson County. So this week is a big week for him. Known Billy a very long time, since 2008, since I started out in coaching. He is a wonderful man, great teacher, doing a great job with us. He's coaching our tight ends on offense. He's coached in this offensive scheme, which was a great get. He's really good with technology, cameras, huddle, all that kind of stuff. He's coaching outside linebackers and some D-line on defense for me. Somebody I can lean on, someone who we speak the same lingo. We coach together. So that's exciting to get him here. He's teaching English down in middle school, which is great for us to get a guy that's coaching middle school that's also coaching our high school kids. So he's helping build those connections with our young guys for the future. And then Coach Colton Pickard, who was at South Gibson. He played and coached at South Gibson. He's been there a couple of years. He's teaching English in the high school level for us. He's a younger coach, very intelligent. Played some receiver and DB at South Gibson under Coach Stidham, bringing a lot of good things to our staff, helping our young guys a lot. He's coaching receivers and helping Coach Taylor with the defensive backs. And he's another guy doing a great job of what we're doing. And I think our kids have all kind of clung to some of these different guys. You know, Coach Brackeen's style is different than Coach Windsor's style. Coach Windsor's style is different than Coach Taylor's style. And they're different than my style. So we've got a very wide range of personalities, which is what I really wanted on the staff. And also different experiences and guys that have been coordinators, head coaches, young guys, older guys. We've got a great mix of people on our coaching staff. And for 1A to have 5 coaches in the building, there's a lot of places that would beg to have that. I'm very blessed that we were able to get these guys hired and get them on board. They're there every day. They're super good with our kids. They're super good in the school system. They're career teachers and coaches, which was important to me to get guys that are invested in doing this as their career. They're bought in, and I could not be more happy and thrilled with these guys. They have had my back since I've got them here, and they've been awesome. Cannot say anything more. I mean, I could say a lot more. I'm just saying there's just so many things I want to say about them. They've been great, and with us having low numbers, we've been able to really teach with having 5 really good hands right there, and that's been great.
Do you feel like that with that amount of coaches and the knowledge that is across the board, do you feel like that, you know, hopefully soon or, you know, before next year that might attract a few more kids to come into West Carroll and play for you?
Well, I mean, we always hope for that, you know, and that's the thing that we can talk about. We'll talk about at different times. There's a lot of things going on with our school and this is not a negative or a positive. It's just fact. I was really doing some numbers during the off season, and it's around 30%, maybe a touch over 30% of our school population has went down in literally the last 8 years. Like, it's gone. Like, our numbers are gone. The advantage that our sports had by having more depth in the smaller 1A schools in basketball, in football, for 25, 30 years, it's gone. So I've got 20 football players, least amount they've ever had in. Our basketball teams have very few players. So it's just not football. It's an athletic thing right now too. Our population has went down, and when the population goes down, you have less people playing sports, and that's just how it goes. I mean, you can ask Gleason, you can ask Greenfield, you can ask South Fulton, Lake County. They've all went through it, and now we're going through it. And there's a lot of reasons. You can ask a lot of people what they think is the reason of it, and I don't think it's one or two reasons. It's several little things, and it's happening. Our class sizes are very low. As of right now, this year's graduating class is the second smallest in school history, if it stays the same. So that right there is hurting us. And then we've had a lot of athletes for different reasons transfer out of our school district for whatever reason. Football, basketball, male, female, they just went elsewhere. So that has hurt us. We've had injuries. We've had kids transfer away because their parents have gotten jobs in other towns. They've decided to go play sports in other schools, whatever the reason is. And that has definitely hurt us. And then also having 13 seniors last year, we've got 3 seniors right now. So we knew we were going to have smaller numbers, but I didn't ever think it would be like this. And then there's some, when you hold kids to a standard and accountability and you coach them hard, there's just going to be some that don't want to do it. They're just not going to do what you want them to do. And that's okay. Nothing personal. It's just hard to do that now. So I think we're going to definitely have more numbers next year. We got more 8th graders coming up. Our numbers will be higher, and we'll get a couple kids here and there, maybe. But the days of seeing 41, 42 kids on the sideline or, dressed out, over. I don't ever see it happening again. Just looking at the numbers from what's in the youth group, middle school now, I think our numbers are so low in the school that it's not going to happen. If we can stay around, if we can get between 27 and 30, 31, that'll be high numbers for us.
Talk about what I'm going to do is I'm going to list a player's name, and all I want you to tell me is in as few words as you can, what's going to be the key to their success.
Okay.
So pretty simple game here. Zach, once he gets healthy.
Zach Fowler?
Yeah, Zach Fowler.
Well, a lot of things I can say about that young man. Awesome kid. But for him this season is just musical chairs, like versatility. He's going to play 5 spots on offense and 2 or 3 on defense. Like, that's his versatility and his knowledge of the game and his football character. I talk a lot about football character. His football character is sky high. Yes, sir. No, sir. I'm going to help the team. Whatever you need. I'm going to play hard. I don't care about my position name. I'm going to be a football player. And that's all I want. I want football players. Don't tell me about what position you play. Just be a football player. And that's what he is. And that's going to make him successful.
I got 2 more. Next one, Tice Reed.
Tice Reed, he's got a chance to break out. He's getting every year he's gotten his body better. He's going to play more snaps than ever. He want to start at right guard, nose guard. He played a lot nose guard last year. He's going to have to play both sides for us this year. It's going to come down to, how durable can he be and how in shape can he be. And this time of year is going to be hard. Last week was hard on him. Talked to him today about it. So a man that size, it's going to be hard on anybody that size. So his durability and being in shape is going to be it's going to be critical for him.
Last one I've got, Jaden Milton.
Jaden Milton. Well, I think everyone knows the name Jaden Milton for the last couple of seasons. Had a great season last year for us at running back. Expecting to have another season even better than that one. He had a really good off season. I think his body is in the best shape it's been. He's strong, powerful, all that athletic stuff. I think everyone knows that. He's going to have to play a lot on defense more than he has for us. And that's fine. His abilities, there's nothing we can not tell. I mean, he can do anything we ask him to do. It's for him, he's got to help lead us. We've always had older kids around him. He's got to lead us. He's played more than anybody we've got. So with that experience comes the responsibility of being a leader. And he's going to, and I've seen that. Each week he's gotten better at that. So his ability to lead us has got to just keep improving. And if that happens, we will be successful.
I got a kind of a different question as far as that. I'm going to ask you to pull out a name now. Even looking back at, say, junior high last year, you've been here, 2 or 3 years. So either junior high last year or your freshman, sophomore last year, whoever it may be, give me that one person that has just kind of dropped your jaw and been like, wow, the improvement level of this particular kid is like no other.
Well, I think I'm going to try to do this because I think this is going to be fair. I'm going to name a group, and here's what I mean by that. I'm going to say our junior class. And why I say that is they went 1-7 as 8th graders. And 2 or 3 of their best players in that class haven't played it down for us in 2 years here or haven't played.
Wow.
And there's a lot of kids that were forgotten as athletes in that class that have been here every day with me in the weight room. Joseph Brogdon went from 150 pounds his freshman year to 235 pounds now. As a sophomore, he was all-region last year at 190. He is going to be really good for us at center on offense and then playing D-line. He's a good football player. Nigel Butler didn't know much about football this time last year, and now he's starting on both sides of the football as a junior. Ben Pruitt, same thing. Injury after injury. Now playing quarterback, playing outside linebacker, safety. He's playing more football than he's ever had, but he's also, last year he was 175 pounds. He's 210 pounds now. The work that these guys have done in the weight room, and then I'm talking about Elijah Dorms playing like freshman year, didn't play a snap. Left guard last year, played every snap. Now is going to be one of the best linemen in our region, hands down. Kamarion Patterson. Eli Travelstead. Eli Travelstead hasn't played it down in his high school career. He's played every snap of every scrimmage basically now. So the work that that whole class has put in, and it's basically just been go to the weight room every day, take the protein shakes, take your vitamins, come to practice, work your butt off, say yes or no, sir, learn, get reps, and just play. So that entire group has really, really, really changed our program. I know that people are looking at our numbers and they're going to think, I don't know. Our junior group has got a bunch of good kids in it that just show up. Amari Kelly, another one, didn't play much because of knee injuries. He's going to be a really good lineman. He's been our most consistent lineman right now for the most part at right tackle. He's going to be a good all these guys that I think some people looked at as freshmen like, I don't know if they're ever played. They're all starting right now, and they're going to play a lot the next 2 years. So we've got a lot of room for growth, and we're going to keep getting better. And it's just because they show up and they work and they enjoy each other's company. And I could not be more proud of that junior group.
Question, Coach, for West Carroll football for this season, what are your top 3 things as far as the entire season that's going to be the key? It can be more than 3, but at least 3 things that's going to be the key to having a successful and competitive season.
One's going to be, health and conditioning.
Yeah.
If we lose 2 guys, we're in trouble. And I like 2, that's if you lose 2 guys, that's 4 starters.
That's 4 starters.
Those guys are probably both way starters, and then they play 2 spots on each special team more than likely.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So yeah,
health and conditioning. The next month is going to be really interesting when it comes to the heat and the humidity and how we take care of our bodies. So it's going to be injuries and lack thereof, hopefully, in our conditioning. Number 2 is just continued growth as far as our young guys turning into young men. We've got some young guys that need to grow up and be young men from a leadership standpoint, and to understand now it's on them. So the growth in the leadership. when you got a small team, it's okay to have a lot of leaders. And if we do that, because we're going to have a lot of adversity. If your leadership is low, adversity will tackle you. If our leadership is high and we stay high, then we'll fight through the adversity. And I've seen that a little bit, and I've seen the adversity get us down too. So we got to continue to get better at that. And then the last one is, I don't know, it's just as important. It's my goal since I got the job was, and this ain't a knock on anyone. This is just what I've seen and other people have seen, and this is what I've asked our players about when I interviewed them after I got the job. The last 2 seasons, we have peaked at the end of September.
Yeah.
And we have fell flat on our face come the 1st of November and the end of October. We peaked too soon. And I don't know why. Maybe it was there's a lot, and that's okay. That means you're getting some things done early. That's good. But we couldn't keep it. And I don't know if it was injuries or we had some suspensions 2 years ago. We had coaching issues. I mean, Coach Morris had, the death of his mother and his unbelievably terrible situation. We had a lot of adversity in different ways, and I don't know if we handled it great, even as coaches, even as kids playing. Our goal is at the end of every month, we're better than what we were. Just win 1 game a week. Try to win 1 game a week. Do no more, no less. At the end of August, are we better than what we were at the 1st of August? We will be, because we already are. At the end of September, are we better than we were at September 1st? And that's the goal. Each week, did we get a little bit better, a couple things? But every 2 or 3 weeks, you can really evaluate it. So I want to be playing our best football come Halloween. That would be unbelievably good. And what does that look like? I don't know right now. I don't know. We'll probably change multiple times in what we're doing based off of injuries. Hope not. But, that's going to be the thing is like our leadership staying high, lack of injuries, hopefully, and then just a growth mindset, getting better each week, each month, and seeing it on the field and seeing it to where, whatever that success is. I don't know what our success is going to be. Is it a number of wins? I don't know. I don't want to say that. It might be, but it's going to be continued growth and playing our best football come playoff time. That's the goal.
As far as the teams on this schedule, you've got Gibson County United home. Of course, we're playing Kip, Camden, and we've got several others on the schedule. But just talk a little bit about the beginning of the season and how important it is, especially for this, as you said, a young team, 20-man roster to try to get off to a great start to the season and something to push going forward.
Well, sorry, Elvis had to join the broadcast here. He's the one that runs the show here.
That's too funny.
Yeah, listen, hey, if anybody knows me, they know how much my 2 dogs mean to me. And okay, he's done with it. So, to answer your question about people ask me, your schedule looks very strange. There's not the traditional teams on there. And there's reasons for that. We get kicked out of Region 6 because the state made us. Well, I'm going to be honest. A lot of those teams didn't want to play us last year. They saw 13 seniors. They saw the Jaden Miltons and Nate Wyckoffs coming back, Nick Andres, and they didn't want to play. I'm going to be honest with you. Greenfield, Gleason didn't want to play. South Fulton, Halls, Humboldt, they didn't want to play. They said no. And that's now our drives are a lot longer, and we had to pick up 2A schools, and it's what we had to do. And Coach Morris was put in a tough spot on that, and it wasn't his fault. That we asked to play the traditional teams, they just said no. But starting off the season, we've got 3 games at home. I'd love to take advantage of that. 2 of those teams got long drives, hopefully on a hot bus. We're at home. This Gibson County game is, a game that we won last year. A game that goes hot over there and humid that game. Probably going to be very humid Friday night. Could look the same. They might get on us early. Can we survive that and kind of outlast them going into the second half? They're young. They don't have a lot of numbers for their standards. And it's going to kind of be 2 teams that mirror each other. But if we can get this one, which I truly believe we can, we got to take care of our business, limit all the heat, exhaustion, cramp stuff by taking care of our body and having good practice this week. But we get this one that I think we'll have a lot of confidence to get a team in Harding Academy next week who I think we can definitely compete with and have a chance to win too, that we didn't get to play them last year. And then that FACS team is good. They had a couple coaching changes. they lost that really good running back. He's at Memphis now. He went to Memphis for a reason. He's good.
Yeah.
Last year he showed it against us, but we also kept him in check pretty good after a couple plays. He actually had his season total yards was against us.
Wow.
And we lost that game because of special teams. If everybody remembers, we kicked it to him. We didn't mean to kick it to him. We kicked it to him. He went and scored. We snapped the ball over a punter's head, and they got the ball on the 1 yard line. That was 2 of their 3 touchdowns. Was just that. So that's a game that they had a great season last year. They had a couple good seniors. I know they're going to have more kids than us. They're going to be good, but I think they play our style of football. They want to run it at you. Well, run it right at us. That's what we want. We can handle that. So those 3 games, and then you get 2 games that we won last year. Perry County and then Houston County for homecoming. Those are 2 games that our kids look at like we can compete with them. So if we can get the ball rolling, Gibson County, Hardin County, I think there's some games right there to start us off that we could surprise a lot of people. And I mean that. Like, I don't know how much people on the outside of us really expect much of us. You see 3 seniors, you're losing 9 starters on offense, 9 on defense. And you got only 3 seniors, 20 kids. Not people are going to expect a lot from us, and we're going to wear that chip like a bowling ball on our shoulders. And our kids know that. So, but I think we've got games on there we can definitely compete in. It's just there's a lot of little things that have got to add up for us to do that.
Jonathan, I'm down to 1 question left.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yep, go for it.
I went through everything except one. This was my last question. I had these in order here. Last question, Coach Dolan. As far as when all the dust settles and the season is over, what is one thing you want all the fans and the people to say about yourself and West Carroll football?
That when you come to watch us play, when you leave there, you know that we played as hard as we could, and that we played hard, and that we played football the right way. And if you've played this game, you know what that means. And no matter the circumstances, win or lose, we are going to play the right way. And we are going to play very physical. We're going to find a way to be physical. I don't know that you've got to be physical. I'm that kind of guy. I'm a physical guy. We're going to be physical. We're going to run the football. We are going to stop the run. And we're going to try to just run around and just be football players. And, I just want people to be proud of our effort and how physical we play. And I want the other teams to be, acknowledge that. If other teams could acknowledge that, like, okay, we've done what we could. We played as hard as we could.
Sure.
And all that. And if you do those things, like, good things will take care of itself. But that's the thing. Like, I want people to walk out of there and be like, man, they're in a bad situation with different, situations.
Sure.
They don't care. They're just playing. They're playing hard. And that would be a nice pat on the back to our kids, that they're just going to fight through whatever their adversity is, and they're just going to go play football. And that would be nice to hear.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, let's hopefully we can, get in there and really play hard and show some really good effort and meet that goal by the end of the season. So that'll do it, I think, for the first episode of Talons Out Live. Coach Dolan, you got anything else you want to?
I'm going to try to get some of our different coaches on here. And there might be some times where we do it in the coach's office and get some of these coaches. I think all of them deserve to be on there. They're all great guys. They're all very smart. They would be great interviews. They've seen a lot of football, coached a lot of football.
Sounds great.
They deserve that. They'd be great at it. And then we could definitely, get some kids if you wanted to at different times and make this how you want it. But, football's here. Our kids are excited. They're ready to go. The scoreboards are on. It means something. It's real. That's why they keep score. I just want, I hope a lot of people show up Friday night, come watch us, support us. Our kids are working every day. That's something with us. That's something I believe in is, we're going to work hard in silence. We're not going to blast a lot of pictures and videos on social media. A lot of people do that. That's cool. We're just going to work in silence. We're going to grind and try to do football the way I think football's meant to be done. And we're just going to work. And we have, be accountable to each other, hold each other accountable, call each other on the carpet when it needs to be, when it's not done right. And get these guys to understand that, life and football, it's relative. There's hard lessons to be learned, and I'd rather them learn them now than learn them in life and lose their first job and can't pay your bills and take care of your family when maybe you could have caught that lesson as a sophomore or junior in high school.
Yeah.
And and I've seen it work. I've seen it at other places, being part of great programs, won championships, different places, won title, whatever you want to call it. Like, been around good coaches and good kids and had teachable moments and seen those kids come back and tell you, thank you for doing this and putting us through this, because this is what it meant and this has helped me later in life. That's what I want our guys to be able to say 5, 8, 10 years down the road, because, we're doing it. Like, that's the byproduct of trying to win, is being accountable, being disciplined, and you'll learn these life lessons along the way.
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate you coming on here tonight and then kind of giving us a little season preview. And so hopefully, one of the reasons we wanted to do this kind of remotely this year is to have a little bit more flexibility. And, so hopefully, it'll be every Monday about 6 o'clock or so. And then, if we need, one of us needs to move a certain day for any given reason, we can we can certainly do that. But everybody needs to stay tuned on the Facebook page, the War Eagle Radio Network Facebook page, and we'll have it posted on there. But like you said, football's here, and so hopefully everybody comes out on Friday night to support these kids. We need to pack out the stands, but of course we're going to be here for the folks that are unable to come, unable to attend. So we're upgrading this year. This little thing right here is not part of the upgrade, but we're upgrading the Huddle production truck this year. So hopefully, if everything goes right, we'll be on that on Friday night. We'll have an integrated scoreboard, instant replays. We'll be able to do a lot of things and have a really nice production for your kids and your staff and the whole West Carroll community starting Friday night. So, but we appreciate you coming on here and getting the insight.
I want to just say thank y'all to y'all. I mean, it's great. Not everyone gets to do this. Want to get on and give thanks to our kids for putting their time and effort in, and their parents, for allowing that to happen. Football is not always looked at in the best light by some of the people in the world nowadays. It's under attack in ways. Football is one of the last vessels for young men to learn a lot of life lessons, like I mentioned just a minute ago. And
right.
Appreciate y'all having the platform, letting kids talk sometimes, like the last couple of years with the senior spotlights and different things like that. Our kids appreciate it. Our coaches appreciate it. I appreciate it. And, game time, 7 o'clock, we're going to be out there ready to go. Gibson County's coming over. They're going to bring a good crowd, not far from them. Looking for a very competitive game, and hopefully we started off the right way.
Yep, let's have a great night.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, once again, Coach Sullivan, we appreciate you joining us, giving us insight. Adam Welch, appreciate you. You got all the good questions, and so starting next Monday, we'll be able to have the stats and kind of go over them and talk about them a little bit. Our fearless statistician, Mr. Don Reed, we'll be collecting all those, and we'll get him to send those to you as soon as Friday night's over with, and so you can kind of look over them, and
awesome.
Then we'll have some testing questions and stuff for you each Monday whenever we do this. But
that sounds great. I look forward to it.
Sounds like a plan. All right, well, that'll do it for this first episode right here of Talons Out Live with Coach Adam Dolan. And so for everybody that want to check us out on Friday night, the Hometown Grocery and Deli pregame show will start at 6:30, and the kickoff at 7 p.m. Gibson County comes to the Eagles Nest, and we'll be ready to rock and roll with that, hopefully with a new upgraded production. And we'll get everything squared away. And I'm going to say a special thanks to Jared Mims for kind of helping me out, getting things pointed in the right direction. He's supposed to come over and show me a little bit of extra stuff tomorrow. So, so on behalf of Adam Welch and Coach Adam Dolan, I'm Jonathan Gown, and we will talk to you on Friday night, Hometown Grocery Deli pregame show at 6:30 and the kickoff at 7 o'clock right here on the War Eagle Radio Network.
Tonight's broadcast on the War Eagle Radio Network is brought to you under exclusive radio rights granted by West Carroll High School to the Tennessee Internet Broadcasting Company, solely for the private non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, or the use of the descriptions and accounts of this event without the express written consent of the Tennessee Internet Broadcasting Company and West Carroll High School is prohibited.